All right, here we are on Salar. We got Team 1ANS, Team 2 OSP, 3K5v5. And I'm not going to introduce everybody. It's the same people we've been playing with for the past couple matches. So these are probably all going to get released in a row. So you know who's here. And we've also got Wolf here in the booth and Corbeau. Actually, we need to move to the caster prison to not get interrupted. So one moment. Wolf here in the booth. Say hello, Wolf.
Yo, how's it going?
That's Wolf and his garbage microphone.
Yeah, well, eh, I'm where I am right now. My internet's complete shit, so I'll try not to talk too much. Sorry.
That's fine. That doesn't. I mean, I don't care. People might care, but fuck them. I
All
make
right.
these videos because I like making these videos. I'm gonna be totally real.
Your customers demand only the best.
Yeah, well, pay me and maybe
Please
I'll care what
ingress.
my customers want.
There.
I think that's pretty reasonable. Okay, we dropped down here with the OSP team. Let's do introductions. We got Dramus and 100 mil nose tugs. Got some jamming, some point defense, lockup radar. So it's got a monitor with an EWR and quite a bit of police on it. And a plasma bulker. Well, I guess it's not a plasma bulker per se. It's got 4 turrets, 2 on each side. And then those 250s, yeah, on the floor. And maybe on the roof? No, just on the floor. Very interesting. Okay. We got Pyro, Rockin'. Oh my. So mass drivers in the name. Now, this is very interesting. A Bloodhound Bulker with a bunch of container stack launchers on it. Odd, I never did start the music. Boom.
Well, that is a very interesting bulker.
Yeah. Yeah, it seems like a bit of an overinvestment. Oh, that's not because of the bulker hull cost, but I don't know. Maybe those
It's
container
loaded
stacks are
with
worth it.
mine. It's loaded with mine containers.
Yeah.
Usually, I would expect decoys. That's interesting.
Oh, I think I know why she took the bulker instead of the monitor. Look at all these track correlators. That's 4 fucking track correlators.
Oh, that's oh, you're going for a lot quality track with the Bloodhound.
Very nice. I respect it. Pyrope again bringing out just a new, fresh, phenomenal build. And then some gun scouts. Lux, same build as last time. 450 SLs with T20s on the sides and Auroras. Chaos with a Pride of Chanur. We've seen this build quite a few times. 450 SLO, Sarissas, Bullseye, Auroras, and then soft kill on the back. Supported by a pair of plasma and 100mm monitors. And then a little soft kill tug machine here. Also has a bloodhound on the nose. Internet Explorer not bringing a single spin ship. Instead bringing the Alamo, which is a 450 Ocello. With, just look at all this. 2 floodlights, a bunch of auroras, a bullseye. A couple bastions. Where do you find the electricity for this, Chief? I don't know. And then 2 mass driver monitors, which he'll probably be playing fairly close to his fleet. Maybe not. These are standing off, but when I've seen these before, they play in close escort to the Ocello. And that's surprisingly strong. Captain Chaos, we already looked at you, Lux. Okay, got that whole team. Now we're going to go over here to our Frig Blob player, who I've already talked about off screen. Crow loves the Frig Blobs. He's been addicted to them since before they were good. And 2 railguns. Okay, so 4 little well-rounded Frigs, with 1 each with 2 250s, 1 blanket jammer, and 1 defender. And then 2 of these naked rail destroyers with quite a few E-rigs on them, actually. A couple of GPCs. So these are gonna be pumping. hopefully. Normally 2 rail destroyers isn't really enough volume of fire to do a lot, but we'll see. Forlorn Soul.
Shut down mass drivers.
Go ahead, Wolf.
You might be able to shut down a mass driver or two.
Yeah, yeah. Especially since Pyro, yeah, kind of skimped on the damage control teams, which is not surprising. You usually do on mass drivers. Forlorn Soul has a beam destroyer loaded down with missiles, which is a little risky. It's a good way to get missiled in return, no point defense, but there didn't seem to be that many missiles. I think any missiles actually out of the OSP team, just some mines. 2 gun support frigates. It's a lot of points in that beam destroyer with those missiles. Lobster, 450 Axford, just driving up to Delta, no hesitation. Supporting Mechanaut's little push here. They're probably going to be able to pull that cap off, actually. Yeah, they're definitely going to be able to pull that cap off. Supported by 2 beam destroyers with just a couple defenders. Some S1, some S2. Just active decoys in the LS1 slot. And bullseyes. Just nice. Meganaut bringing the S2. I don't even know what to call this team. It's just a really, really expensive cap fleet. So if 120, 1 VLS2 loaded up with standard S2s and a couple defenders, and they're really, really dangerous against shuttles of all kinds. Bunga Parker looks like he's also bringing a bit of a fig bulb here. He got a beam destroyer, some jammers on it, and some auroras. Interesting. A bullseye. And then, this might be a full support team. Yeah, it's a support team. So they got Pinard. Oh, nice. Pinards on all these, and they're spread around. They got some hangups on them, and we know those currently don't work properly, which is unfortunate. I don't think Mungo got the memo on that one. And 1 single 120 gun. Also some interceptor S1s. In the meantime, OSP manages to cap 4 points, although one of those points is getting uncapped right now. And they've got a little bit of score advantage.
Mechanaut is also pushing A right now. Those Corvette, and it looks like he's gonna maybe take it.
Yeah, I think so. Those can easily handle this Black Cat at Internet Explorer. Yeah, it's pretty much screwed already. Can easily finish that off with gunfire. OSP has a lot of backline. They've got 2 different fleets of mass drivers. There's also these scouts that are standing off a little bit. There's the EWRs. And generally both teams are actually doing a little bit of a NASCAR here. OSP has committed the bulk of its forces down to Bravo, whereas ANS has committed the bulk of its forces up to Delta, and they're just going to loop each other. Problem is, I think this is a lot worse for the OSP because they've got a lot more backliners that are just hanging out in spawn, and ANS has a pretty much free reign to just drive in there and kill those, actually. If Lobster pushes that Axford through this hole, it'll directly be on those mass drivers. Which is bad.
My one concern about that is that the beam destroyers just above D don't have a really good approach angle on the OSP's backline from there. Like, if they try to walk across to pressure the backline under mass driver fire, they're going to have a bad day.
For sure. That is a good point. This is one of those times, I think, that actually having a bunch of 450 probably would have been better than having all the beams. Salar is just in general not a beam map. I'm really surprised at the sheer volume of beam destroyers. There are, I think we've got 5 total, because Lobster has 2, Forlorn has 1, Mungo has 1, so yeah, 4 total. That's like... it's a lot of beams for this huge open map.
Well, if they manage to hold on to 3 caps, then OSP is going to have no option but to push.
That is also correct.
Although it looks like Mechanop's getting pushed off of A here by the mass drivers.
Yeah, but there's not really anything in range from the OSB side to take Alpha. I think the Black Cat, I don't know if this can actually fly. It'll be able to once this reactor gets, or once the drive here gets repaired. That's gonna take a little while. It could actually cap that. Might get missiled first troubles though. Oh man, that's one of those very expensive sprinters getting downed by the mass driver fire. Hybrid going out here. That must be coming out of that beam destroyer. Yep. They did. They certainly did. That is, pay their PD tax. Some of these mine containers coming out from Pyro. Yeah, I hope Forlorn Soul. How many missiles do you have, buddy? Lot. Awesome. So I think that was specifically a scouting missile that he fired, so that's fine to lose that. Putting some mines right here, right outside this donut in front of Delta. That's a fantastic spot for those. I think
Would have stood to be a bit closer to the rock, but still a good placement.
Yeah, you got to be real careful with your mine containers because they drift really far, just like normal mines, but it's a lot harder to precisely position them. And I find if you fire them too close to rocks, you have a tendency to slam all your mines into the rock, thusly deleting them. The real issue is they're a little close to the porthole. So that might spread too far to where the angle isn't steep enough. Yeah, that's exactly what's happening. These are gonna get spotted kind of early. Back Lobster probably spots them right now. No, maybe not right now, but very shortly. Like, there they are. Unless you have a front line in this thing. No, parallax. Rams's little gun tug team coming up here to cap Alpha. Finishing off the poor expectations. Aptly named. Mechanot, the first casualty really here from the ANS team.
Got some hybrids coming in on Pyro. He should be able to handle it.
I don't
Actually,
know.
never mind. They are missing, possibly.
Well, Pyro
I'm
doesn't.
honestly surprised that the ANS team did not contest A more fiercely. I know the mass drivers pushed them back, but they don't have a very good path forward in this game without control of A. Because they can't push across the OSP's backline for the reasons we've talked about.
Well, they have the same problem trying to hold A, I think. Is that if anyone pokes out to fight that, they just get mass drivered in the face. I think there are some angles that are worth considering. Like if you come right in the middle of the map and just poke around and shoot and poke and shoot. Behind these rocks here in this crevice.
Yeah, the ANS, and this is part of why giving it up is so problematic, is the ANS can't really get physically onto A.
Yeah.
But if you look at the map, they're not exerting any control over A using fire lines from cover. And that's a problem.
Yes, it is. Rather sizable one. I think their best bet is to actually, well, it would be to go after Bravo. Honestly, I think what you do on this map, and what I would have fucking done, is after you see those mass drivers way up high, way at the back, you say, okay, fuck the top of the map. You want the top of the map? It's yours. I'm going to the bottom of the map, where you guys can't see me and shoot me. And you go and you cap Bravo, and then you try to cap Alpha, and then you try to control and play under the map. Couple hybrids going into Alpha and getting shot down by a couple bastions. Yeah, ANS generally unsure what to do. And people sitting behind rocks over here.
Also, we're concerned that because of the atypical rollout where they both stack opposite sides of the map, like, up until maybe like 30 seconds ago, most of the OSP team and the ANS team are just not spotted. Hell, look at the ANS team right now. Only one ship is spotted.
That's a very good point.
They're really in the dark. They are really in the dark right now.
Yeah, both teams are. Which could certainly lead, and very sensibly leads to the passive play. Because the last thing you want to do is die for nothing. And not having intel is, has a tendency to cause that.
Not having
Well, the
intel would
OSP's
favor the defender
rear-
right now.
The OSP's rear EWR down low is kind of just pointed at their own forces right now. It could be looking up, and it's not. Like, where it's looking, I feel like the ships that are sitting there will have radar coverage of that. So they could have access to more information than they currently have.
Sure.
They may be expecting ANS forces at E though. Although no, there's no way that EWR reached that far. Never mind.
Well, what it's allowed is Lobster's actually kind of snuck a beam destroyer near A, which I did not expect to be possible.
That beam destroyer is hugging the rock right now. Look at that. Its bullseye is under the rock.
Yeah, but the second this thing lifts up and tries to get onto Alpha, it's gonna get spotted and gunned to pieces.
And the frigate blob is finally using that rock to project force towards A, and conveniently is also able to clear the mines, although I don't know that the mines are that important.
They're not. It's just not enough volume of mines there. Yeah, I don't know about the mine containers. Those mass drivers, because it's 16 mines. That's a really good, extremely late game play, and it's not that good for anything else. Well, you drop some mines on a point that you're pretty sure is fine, but maybe a ship that has no guns can get on it, and then the mine zones out that ship. But otherwise it's like not enough to actually threaten anything or to prevent a push. Mungo losing one of his Zealand tugs. Frigates. They're the same ship really. ANS tugboats win. Mostly just so I don't air. I can call everything tugs. I've been doing that specifically with tugboats. The past like 2 weeks, I've been calling everything on both teams tugs, and I have no idea why. I don't like these ships. I don't play these ships.
Not is making another play for A, but it looks like it's going to be a suicide play.
Yeah, we kind of knew that that's really the only option open to the ANS at this point. With Pyrope and Internet Explorer over the watching with mass drivers. And also these other fleets are getting good angles on Alpha.
I mean, I think the problem is, yep, there it goes before it gets the cap. If you can get the cap, it might very well be worth it because
sure.
they're now in a much better position to project gunfire onto the point to keep it. But
Yeah, it's
couldn't live long enough.
not really feasible with the sheer volume of fire that points in that direction. Now chaos is coming up as well, just even more bullets. It's just you're gonna have to put a concerted effort to cap that. And I think that's a good way to just lose too much of your military and die. So
What's striking me is how much of the ANS is still on D or behind it.
yeah, just hanging out. Not really
Whereas
sure
the
what to
OSP
do.
is much more active in the center of the map.
Yeah, they've looped around. They've noticed that, oh, there's nobody here. I guess we keep going because you kind of have to. And they're getting this incredible cinch on the ANS fleet.
So the beam destroyer on your A died, although I think it might have gotten an extreme range shot onto an Ocello before doing so.
No. No, I don't think so.
Ocello's drive is yellow, but maybe something else caused that.
Well, he's just facing the wrong way. Yeah, and the Ocello's trading fire with Axford and the broadside. Or, not these Ocellos. Which Ocello got yellowed? Ah, Area Explorer. Well, we can actually look. Yeah, these are all bullet holes. These are 450 holes. There are a couple
good point. Yeah,
of
you're
120
right.
holes as well. Yeah, no beam burn marks. I think some of those is actually rail fire as well. Maybe not. Yeah, the fire rate on those rails is pretty high. I'm sure you could get more with more actual rail ships, but spinning the points like that can be really worth is making them support ships. Yeah, because these monitors are taking a lot of damage from the rails and a lot of fire damage, even though they have decent repair teams. They don't have amazing repair teams. They got decent teams.
They have what?
6 teams, 3 restores.
Small, rapid, large. Yeah, that's decent against rails. Oh, I just saw a main bus door happen. Those mass drivers are pretty well and good shutdown.
Yeah. Yeah, the rails have been killing it against the mass driver monitors. Bulkers are still firing though. Doing a pretty decent job. Especially shooting at the frigates. Or tugs, as they're more commonly known. By big stupids who call everything tugs.
And now the OSP has gone all the way around to make a play on E.
Yep. Chaos down here. Taking point. Getting beamed by a ship that doesn't have any... Well, it doesn't have enough FPAs anyways. Oh my! Speaking of the number of FPAs it has, the number of FPAs it has is 0. So it's going to be doing no damage and battle shorting. Giving the Cello a nice little chin tickle. Nice little Gucci Gucci goo.
Steam cannon is out.
Tramus also supporting him on an Echo, so as Mechanauts Corvettes move in, they're going to start eating a whole lot of 100 mil.
Meanwhile, over on D, this Axford's taking a fight with 2 Othellos, and it's not going very well for it.
Ooh. What?
Well, I say that, but it's inflicted some pretty good damage on one Othello. But yeah, it's pulling back into cover. It is not. Keep doing this.
Yeah, with all the fires on this Cello, I have a feeling some of this damage is from rails. Oh yeah, we just saw 2
Oh,
go
good
into
point.
it.
Yeah, I see it now.
Yeah, I think the rails are doing a lot more than the 450 is.
Ooh, look at all of those atmosphere lakes. That's interesting. We were clowning on the ANS for the OSP for maybe having too much backline, but here we have the ANS backline just kind of coming in clutch.
Yeah. Yeah, they really are. And it's just enough. Right? Just a couple rails. So you can take a specific ship and shut it down at extreme range.
Well, we've seen with Internet Explorer a couple times, you don't need very many railguns to force an Ocello player to pull back into cover.
Yes.
Ocellos just hate railguns so much that they're not going to sit there and take it, even if it's a couple.
Oh, and this Othello is now under threat, is now being flanked by a bunch of frigates, gun frigates. That is not going to be buffing for it.
Yeah, that's a big problem.
This is a little bit what I was referring to earlier, where if the ANS had gotten into their more or less current positions more quickly to exert this sort of gun control over the middle of the map and kept A, this is a very different game. Because it's not like the ANS is militarily defeated yet.
Yeah. And if they hold that A point, which they definitely can, it's for sure. The points are flip-flopped and might be even more ANS favored. Yeah, Echo push not going too hot. Cass's Ocello, which is the core of this push, is getting missiled pretty effectively by all these S2s. The unfortunately the Sarissa Ocello is not what you want on the front line. That's an Aurora Ocello would have been great, but setup you really wanted to try.
Well, it has 2 Auroras here, but
It does,
not enough.
but you want the 4 Auroras if you're gonna be pushing.
and only one of them could really get fire on the angle, I think.
Yeah, that's another problem. It's not the... Is it the side Auroras? Yeah, it is. It is. And one of them's taken out as part of the problem.
Even with Aurora's size 2 missiles are a struggle. And yeah, the angling is a huge deal for Ocellos.
Yeah, I think in these low volumes, if you had 4 Auroras, it would have been fine. Because it's coming out of Mechanaut Sprinters. I also feel like these are ARAD with how effectively they're pouncing on them.
Oh, plot twist, we have... High Rope has flipped the script, and we have mass drivers counter-batterying railguns.
That's a new one, and it's gonna be pretty effective. Yeah, look
Now
at these
just touching a
destroyers.
broadside, that is not good.
It's so bad. Oh god, this has actually been going on for a while. Oh, this is plasma. Okay, so what happened is Dramus has pushed his plasma in 100 mil, or plasma in 250 actually is the build. God damn it, that's so good. Up here, spotted the destroyers, gunned one down with the plasma and the 250, and Pyro's been finishing off the other with the EMDs. And since these things are, they don't have any external mountings other than the railgun, they're real squishy. Those destroyer compartments are pretty easy to kill.
Alliance is kind of crushing it all over the map here, but is it in time? I don't know if it is.
Yeah, and losing that backline I think is pretty huge because we were seeing it earlier that they were absolutely devastating on these Ocellos.
Crows realize that the mass drivers are preoccupied and is going to take A, which is a good move, but I do think it's just too late. All the ships fighting on E, the game is going to end before they're relevant anywhere else.
Yeah, being down 220 points, like you need to be taking 2 caps right now. At once.
Oh, and D is being taken.
Oh,
yeah,
no.
that's gonna be it.
Oh, stepped off of D, and yeah.
Where is the ANS? There's just too many of them on Echo. There's way too many of them on Echo.
It's Pyrope with the sneaky cap again.
Oh no! One of Pyrope's mines. One of Pyrope's mines just killed Lobster's Beam Destroyer.
Oh, tragedy. I was doubting the mines, and the mines came in clutch.
Those mines just pay for themselves.
Yep. Wow.
I mean, this is the phase of the game where you get desperate and start YOLOing.
Yeah, but I don't think that's going to help either. Delta Cap got prevented by the Axford, but it's dumping 450 into a shuttle at point blank. It's going to be a while on that one. And most of the ANS combat force is on Echo, and some of it's getting downed actually by these 100 mil tugs. The Frig Blob on Alpha is pretty dangerous overall, but there's just no OSP near it. Start rotating down to Bravo, but the second it leaves Alpha, it's gonna get countercapped. And yeah, OSP is 50 points out.
As long as OSP holds onto a single point at this point, they've got it. So yeah.
Yeah. The enemy secured Zone Atlas. It's a little bit of seizure warning there for everybody.
This one felt very chess-like and positional.
Yes.
Slow.
I think this was the intended Nebulous Fleet Command experience.
Yeah, the whole positioning was very nebulous because they didn't really know where each other, like, what the other team's plan or disposition was until very relatively late in the game.
Yeah.
And then from there, like, ANS eventually got its stuff together and coordinated on a plan, but it was too late at that point.
Most interesting. Oh, I was gonna dip into team comp. Oh well, fuck it, whatever. Remember I mentioned that before the video started, but it doesn't matter. We had a good little casting thing going here with the three of us. Just kind of waiting for the game to end at this point. Like Dramus keeping 2 ships on Bravo, just in case something comes over here. That's part of the problem that ANS had, is they weren't keeping ships in defensive areas.
I love the little guard ship. You just leave behind just surprise people later in the game.
Oh yes. GG.
The enemy is securing Zone Atlas.
Yeah, I wouldn't even know who to fucking interview in this time. How positional that was. Let's see what this AR, see if anything in particular sticks out. Oh wow. Internet Explorer doing a lot of damage.
Internet
Yeah,
Explorer had some interesting positioning because there was a lot of moving forward to put pressure on A and retake it early on, and then backing off and moving back and forth around one of those, not middle, but middle side of the OSP map asteroids.
yeah,
It
down
wasn't
below.
like a massive amount of movement, but it was very interesting movement, and the numbers show that it was meaningful.
For sure. I think I just embrace chaos and hop up into the violence waiting room with everybody. Tally ho, gents. I'll kick you in there.
And then it not the reactor knocks out the drive, and then it's instantly dead. Like not even a chance to react there.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So Mungo, I noticed something that I think everyone should know about.
No FPAs!
Oh,
I brought 3 FPAs on both of them. What are you talking about?
You're not Mungo!
Ah.
Yeah, not me. I don't have
Yeah.
FPAs.
there's also that you had no FPA and my solo was like pretty much fine from your beam. But
Yeah.
when I was firing on your reins, you went bow tanking with them against my HE, and then I switched to grape. And then I noticed you started angling after, and then I switched back to HE.
No, that was just the orbit command doing orbit command things.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I thought that was cool. Anyway.
No,
There
that
was just
orbit
like
command.
ghosts in the darkness spotting me, and I couldn't find them all.
Yeah,
it
too
was
bad we
great.
couldn't do anything about it.
Yeah.
I think my mines got that destroyer on D eventually.
Did they? I don't think that was the mines. Oh, it might have been the mines actually.
No, the mines
Yeah.
definitely hit the destroyer. They didn't like kill it. My 450s like definitely injured it, but it ran into the
No,
mines
yeah.
and just died.
Oh, I remember seeing like
was probably
inbound
dead
spikers.
anyway.
I just didn't notice those were mines.
Uh-huh.
I mean, it wasn't exactly the most alive destroyer at that point, so I wasn't paying too much attention to it.
I wonder if frig blobs. I think frig blobs are more balanced, like in bigger matches. Like in bigger maps too, like this one. Because that didn't feel like it was a problem at all.
They're not a problem. That's the thing. But they're really range anemic.
Yeah.
You know, they don't have any reach.
Well, if we had
Yeah.
missiles, we'd have reach, but you know, I feel like that's the one thing I need to add to instead of having guns and
'Cause,
stuff
like-
on these frigs is to take missiles instead to support these destroyers because it's all long range.
Because like mass drivers have historically been the one thing that counters frigates, right? So in a match
Uh-huh.
where they dominate this much, I think it makes sense that the frig blob just doesn't do much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I see.
It's always a disappointing game when you just got counter builded like 100%. I mean, I have to thank whoever came to cap our natural because it gave me something to do.
Okay,
That was me, and yeah, that was me.
Yeah.
I just
Thank
took
you.
Mash Drivers because sniper is fun. Like I was like, I shall play the Mash Driver bulk with the Bloodhound bulk.
Yeah. And you guys zoned the fuck out of me on your natural, by the way. It was pretty nasty.
I got hit by some S2Hs. That hurt a lot.
Yeah, that was me.
Owie.
I didn't have a lot to do, so that's why I would just zone stage there around that area.
Yeah, it worked.
And whoever you guys like, there was with my sprinters.
Alright, we're just talking about the game at this point. I think we covered basically everything of note. Yeah, we did. I hope you enjoyed that, even though those post-battle game sessions, they last for like 10 to 30 minutes and are very often just sort of madness. Yeah, we need to get to the next one, but I need to end this video before that. Thank you for coming out. I hope you enjoyed. See ya, fucker.